Right there. Thank you. Great. Appreciate that. Yep. Just waiting. Just chilling. Oh yeah. I am live. Chance. Chance didn't want to be a nat one. It's Hedwig on steroids. It really is Hedwig on steroids.
Oh yeah, like an adult version.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that theory.
I'll take a dry LaCroix. Chance says hi. All right. Okay. How's the music? Is it relaxing? Is it loud enough? Crack, crackle, pop. Snap, crackle, pop. We got a lot of spoilery stuff for Allie, so I'm just waiting for Allie to chill out and bug off. No music. I'm just sitting here rocking to invisible music. All right, I'm gonna double check the settings. Ah, I see the problem. Music should be popping in now. I'm just bobbing silently. You could have used this first, what is it? 3 minutes and put any music on top. All right. Hey, Allie. So you can hear me. Megan's silence looks stylish. That's funny. Sick. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Let's get over to our spoilers. I'm gonna snack on my dinner while we're working on this too. All right, so we have Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master Prep. Tomorrow we're running a one-shot called Cocaine Owlbear, inspired by the fantastic and insane movie Cocaine Bear, taken to a fantastical owlbear extreme. But we're not playing classical Dungeons and Dragons, or 5e, I should say. Instead, what we're going to be playing is a game that's not in front of me, and I don't know why. Shadow Dark RPG. That's what we're going to be prepping. It could be run in any D&D system, but that's the game we're playing tomorrow. And I'm going to bring it up, this one shot that I've written, and we can go over it, and we can kind of compare the learning lessons from the last D&D DM one-shot prep stream. There we go. I thought it was inspired by Sharknado. No, that was the finale of another game. So the prep that we're going over today is not exclusive to Shadow Dark or Dungeons and Dragons. It's very much storytelling for tabletop, for D&D. We're using my structure that I combined the hero's journey and the 5-room dungeon together into, how many pages is this? Roughly a 6-page document. With these 6 pages, the goal is to feel prepped for the adventure, understanding the story structure for the party, and just going. Obviously, I have this with me when I run the game, and so that way I can always refer back to it. But the more you run it, the more it can just feel like a skeleton for you to jump off. A skeleton to add clay and meat to jump off a skeleton. Okay, so is this the right one? Yes, this is the right one. There we go. Let's make sure this fits. Using Google Docs. That's how sophisticated I am. There we go. Sam Kent coming in on hot landing. Skeleton diving board. That's what Mickey Mouse was afraid of. Part of me as I put food down my gullet. We got chickpea pasta with peas, sweet potato, mushroom, tomato pasta sauce, and chopped broccoli. And to go with it, Dave's Killer Bread with some ghee butter and minced garlic. Why did my camera just do that? I don't understand. I'm supposed to be really good at tech stuff. Why my camera gotta die constantly? It's kind of unfair. Gonna paint the owlbear any further for the cocaine effects? I am. It's probably gonna be something that I do right before bed. Alright. I gotta remember to take food breaks. If I don't, Allie will kill me. So the owlbear that we're talking about is the Pathfinder Rusty Rusty Dragon Inn. I know it sounds too much like the new Silver Dragon Inn, but this is from the Rusty Dragon Inn from Pathfinder. You can get this owlbear pretty cheap going to eBay if you don't want to buy the whole set. I recently... There's a car alarm in the background, but you don't hear it. So I recently repainted it, giving it some different layers of brown. The lighting's pretty harsh, so it's hard to really tell. But then I also did a lot of wash work to make sure that the fur and the feathers around its neck pop out. I definitely wanted to add some black to some of the claws because it's not clean yet. And then I think some white powder around the beak and the bottom feathers. Like it's been digging into some specialized powder. Okay, so what we have on the dock. First page, we want to get some context down. The world is Aida. Where in the world is the Westlands? I actually can show you a map. That would be great. Instant distraction. What am I talking about? Someday I will remember my organization. There, pop that open. Great. Oh, I could just... No. Screen. Window capture. There we go. Map. There it is. A boom! Super big. So we have the world of Aida in front of you right now. Where this area would be considered the bottom continent would be considered the Southlands. You can kind of see the Eastlands that kind of looks like a K. But the doc says we're in the Westlands. So, where are we? We are on this stump of a continent right here. And I wonder if I can draw. I can. So the Braemore region is roughly here. This is the Braemore region. Tarka region, and then the Martima region is mostly that area. You might see this little spot right here. That is Amity Island. So Cocaine Owlbear is taking place way over here. Oh, and then this is Molbul. More specifically, that is Molbul. This massive piece of forest over here is unoccupied. It's called the Dark Forests. So, Braemore, that's where we're taking place in. Flash of my face. It's the second dawn, around 545. Should it be a little bit sooner? Let's do 245. 236. 226. There we go. So we know where we are and when we are. This is great. When you're world building, this helps a lot. In the Braemore region, must collect cocaine. I'm gonna call it moon dust. Inspiration, cocaine bear. Cool. I understand the settings of this. The hard themes, which are the visual direction of the game, physical aesthetics. We have a forest, a cabin, a cave, and a ruined cottage. philosophical explorations. We have survival, drugs, theft, survival, drugs, theft, family because of some character choices that have already been decided. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. There we go. My voice is a little bit higher. So we have that for our themes. So let's go down to the first act. The first act. So in the first act, we have the ordinary world and the call, typically the call to action. So this is, we assume that the ordinary world, the call to action where the adventurers have chosen to go on this adventure has already happened. We are in on it. But we want to describe how that event occurred, so it's kind of all wrapped up in a 3-act, 3-bullet point description. You've been hired by a district noble, always the nobles, to stop some bandits, to have some stolen magical items, and bring the bandits to justice while returning the stolen goods. The party already knows each other, key, and have traveled the road for a couple days. As the party arrives at the lodge in the woods, you unpack for the night, light the fireplace, and wait for your contact from the watch. Roll on the umbral clock. We're gonna make that a D8. Hard choice. That's the ticking time bomb for encounters. The Watch is a kind of like a ranger guild faction. It's not exclusive to rangers, but it's very ranger-esque. Describe your characters and what they look like and what's going through their mind. That is the first act. So, how did we get here? What are we doing? Hey, everyone, describe your characters. Food time.
You want to show off our shirt?
I gotta hide that page, guys.
I'm not looking.
What's going on? Oh, our shirts arrived?
Yeah.
So we ordered shirts for this adventure. What's your shirt say?
Mama Owlbear.
Mama Owlbear.
Because I'm playing a little gnome, and she's searching for her daughter who decided she wanted to be an adventurer.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. I did the green one. It's a little dark, but it's still cute.
I think it's gonna pop once we get in the lights.
Yeah. Material is whatever.
It's cheap. It's a costume at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's so wide. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
It's also very wide for a small. Yeah, but it's fine. It's just
I got
very authentic.
True to the Roots, Cocaine Bear movie poster. The print is so tiny on this shirt.
Yeah.
It's such a cheap made shirt, but it's going to be perfect for the game.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You can give it to me. Put it in the bedroom.
Great.
Your material feels so much softer.
All right, back to what's really important, guys. All right, Act 1. We described what Act 1 is. The sounds. Helping Hand, Act 2. So the first act, not Act 2, sorry. Beat 2, stage, Chapter 2, that's the better word. Chapter 2 of Act 1. The first minor act of Chapter 2, we get it going. Because the Helping Hand is where we meet an ally. So There's a knock on the door. We describe the character that they're meeting. I risk spoiling this with Allie in the other room. Viltrumite. What's up? We got some dialogue. Hi, I'm so-and-so. And then we have not necessarily dialogue choices. Well, they kind of are. They're there for me to make sure these are things that this character would say that propel the plot forward and communicate important information. Just quick sound bites. The rest of the dialogue I can obviously improvise, but this is just like the go-to key things to mention so the players know what's going on. The third minor act, we wrap up this scene with the main supporting character. A big thing that I do mention though in this, let's see, where can I find it? You can treat the lodge as a stronghold, and you can imagine I'm going to use some stronghold mechanics. And we can get into that a little bit. There's a map of the region, and this is a magical map because we're in a magical forest. We're in the wild. And it changes and adapts as the wild changes. Let's see. There's some fireworks that they can use to call her. There it is. So it's an important line. I almost thought I didn't write it down. Important line to mention that this supporting character isn't going to be here during the adventure. They're just giving the players permission to use the lodge and the support from the faction. So that way my NPC doesn't take a lot of the thunder away from the players. So you're working on the next... there's a heart in the way. There we go. So are you working on the next Son of a Dungeon script? Oh, dude, I wish. But it is not Son of a Dungeon. It is the Cocaine Owlbear one-shot that I'm playing tomorrow. Which is being filmed. We got some nice t-shirts, and I got a few costume pieces to go an extra mile. And I even have an owlbear mini that needs its cocaine put on its face. So we got through second chapter. After the second chapter, we get into the dungeon, Act 2. Tempting Road. So in the Tempting Road chapter, the adventures are nope, that is an old piece of information. We don't need that. Is it? Yeah. Players wake up to have a moment of roleplay, so I give them a chance to talk, plan, think about things, establish some motivations. It's all good. The party ventures into the woods. They're with the supporting character, helping point the way. Before they explore. Okay. Let me put that before, or else I will confuse myself. The party ventures through the woods. As they leave the front door, roll on the umbral clock, and we're going to do a D10 since I decided to upgrade the 6 to an 8 on the prior one. Cap M8. Is this Google Doc from a template? If so, where can I find it? This is a template that I've made. I mixed the hero's journey with the 5-room dungeon to try to make a cohesive one-shot structure, or a chapter of a campaign structure. This will be the 4th game I've run using this structure. Each one gets more and more refined and better and better. So then after the Tempting Road, which is literally a transitional scene. It does not need to exist in a strict game, but it is a nice transitional beat where players get to roleplay and move forward. Then we get to the 4th chapter in the thumbs up. I don't know why there's thumbs up in everything. We get to the crossing the entrance. So crossing the entrance is a mix of crossing the threshold into the magical world, and it is the entrance to the dungeon. In many ways, I think I should move Tempting Road into the first act, but for now, we're going to leave it there. We'll get rid of this from the previous sailing adventure, which you can see in the previous stream. Act 1, the minor act of the 4th chapter. I know, the naming conventions I've given this. Roll on the umbral clock, 1d10. We just rolled, right? We just rolled. So I'm going to hold off on that. The party wanders into a grove with 3 paths. In the center are 2 remaining bandits panicking about the witch who paid them for the loot. Okay. So, we have a villain. And we'll come back to her and talk about her a little bit more in detailed in a second. Act 2, minor act 2, players can start combat or don't. They have, the bandits have 1 small chest. And once the players look in the chest, they find the moon dust. Then they should roll on the umbral clock, 100%. That should be enough of rolling on that clock. A D8, a D10, and a D10. It's tight. For the clock to start at 24, that's a tight. They definitely need to roll on it a little bit more. I'm going to start the clock on a D10. And then we're living with a D12. That's going to be way more productive. The reason why I'm okay with starting that high is in the first act I've described... Where is it? They've been traveling on the road for a couple days. And the clock grows the longer you're traveling. I'm doing prep right now for a Star Wars 5e one-shot. Ooh, Star Wars 5e. That's a crunchy boy. So I will be observing ideas to hopefully cultivate a better structure. Heck yeah. All right, so we roll on the underworld clock on the 2nd minor act of crossing the entrance. 3rd act, Cocaine Owlbear arrives. My hope is this ties to the umbral clock roll. Let's see. Roll the, after combat. I'm gonna say the roll umbral clock should be tied to opening the chest. Non-combat, we will have them roll on the umbral clock 1d12 for patience / tension from bandits. That makes sense. So I often like to use the umbral clock, this doom clock, this countdown clock for encounters. Both the more rooms and places that the players travel to and explore, but also I like to use it as a tension builder between NPCs and player conversations. So if in the middle of the conversation they roll their charisma checks and yes, they roll really high or really low, doesn't matter. It does matter, but it doesn't matter to the clock. I will also have someone else roll on the umbral clock. How's the patience going? Yeah, you may have successfully wooed them with your charisma. but did their patience get burnt? And that's a nice indicator for that. Because an encounter at 0 doesn't have to be combat. It just means threat or a push of power. So the cocaine owlbear arrives. Fight until it runs away. When does it run away? It will run away at 0 HP. The path changes behind it. So we're in the wild. Essentially, for most people, that would be considered the Feywild. In Aida, this fantasy world, the wild is the deep forest. So as the owlbear runs off, the forest will start changing shape and closing paths. Very labyrinth dungeon design. All the paths, including the one they came from, the players came from, begins to change. They have to sprint and run not to get lost in the wild. That's important. So for the combat aspect, here are the stats for the owlbear. Super simple. We have its AC, its HP, 30 HP. It has 2 attacks. It has a +5 to its attack. It deals a 1d10. And it's a level or CR6. Because we're doing mechanically wise, we're using Shadow Dark. It's a level 6. I can bring up what the D&D. What is the 5e owlbear? We got a few different owlbears. We have the classic, the snowy, the skeleton, the MCDM. There's a 2-headed, skeleton 2-headed, a reduced threat. We're just gonna grab classic owlbear. What do we got? And the classic owlbear is not that far off. It's 13 AC, 60 HP, 2 attacks, so that's accurate. +7. Ooh, interesting. And then roughly the same amount of damage. Okay, cool. That's good to know. And it's not that different. Movement near. So in Shadow Dark, we don't really go 5 feet, 10 foot, 15 foot. Near is basically 30 feet, which is most movement. The crush ability, it deals an extra damage die if it hits the same target with both claws. So if I do the multi-attack on a single target and hit, then I deal an extra damage. We got strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Cool. That's really all I need to know for the cocaine owlbear. After the combat, the wild starts to change. The forest, the dungeon, it starts to change shape. They have a choice to run or get lost in the wild. So we jump to the 5th chapter of this dungeon or this adventure. Act 1. If they sprint for the path back to the lodge, roll a wisdom check with advantage or a saving throw. If they don't sprint, they roll straight. If they choose to not go back, disadvantage. If they fail the wisdom checks, here we go. First failed roll, here's the DC. I have a low and a high, so that way it's easier for my brain if they did something to make it more difficult for themselves. They get if they fail, they get a -1 on all D20 rolls until a rest. Second fail and third fail. So I'm gonna essentially have a skill challenge for them to run back home. and they all have to roll. They need to succeed all, or else they'll have some -1s until a rest. Ideally, they run home and they can take a rest and reduce this by like half. I'm gonna have them roll like a d4 to see how much exhaustion or -1s are being reduced when they rest. It's not rules as written, but as a game design, it adds in the immersion that the environment has an impact on your choices. They return to the stronghold, plan and search for, it used to be called pixie dust, moon dust across the wild forest on the map, because now they know what to look for. And they're going to level up. Yes, they're going to level up in the middle of a one-shot. Heck yeah. Because Shadow Dark leveling up is easier than a short rest in 5e. All right, Act 2. Return to the stronghold plan and do the whole dust search with the level up. The map shows 3 groves. Players need to pick which one of the should show 4 groves. Math. Shows 4 groves. Players need to pick which order of events as they leave the front door. I gotta organize my writing. As they leave the front door, roll a 1d20 umbral die. I'm gonna say next day. Okay, so the groves that they're going to see on the map. So the map's going to change shape and match where the moon dust is, because that's what they're looking for. It's going to show the cabin that they're in, because there's moon dust in there if they took the moon dust. It's going to show the grove that they were just at, because there's residual moon dust. And I have to clarify that. Then there are 2 other possible groves where the map senses moon dust. We have the cave lair, and we have the witch's cottage. So the cave lair, we have the entrance to the cave. It concealed by thick vines and rocky outcrops. Inside the cave is dark and filled with remnants of old wooden structures, indicating it used to be a mine. The challenge in here is to explore an extremely dark cave in a very short amount of time to not draw the attraction of an owlbear. They don't know what's in this dark cave. They're looking for the hidden moon dust. And next to the dust that they find, they will also find owlbear eggs. So when they enter the cave, I'm going to pick a note here. Owlbear feathers. Single feather. So they're going to find an owlbear feather at the entrance of the cave. So they understand that owlbear could be in this cave. But then they find out the eggs are there. It's a mammal that lays eggs. The owlbear rises and roars at the players. The reward, discover 2d6 bags of moon dust. Next to a couple of owlbear eggs. They could take the eggs, who knows? They probably won't. Unless someone's like, I'm gonna use the eggs to convince the owlbear not to do anything. That would probably not go well. Ensure you avoid or escape the owlbear as it fiercely defends the nest. Level up. That's going to be a big reward. When they get back to the lodge and they have to roll, let's return to lodge. Roll wisdom checks. I want to actually right now change how these wisdom checks are going to work. So -1 on d20s of the first one. Second one, owlbear shows up. Third one, -1. -1. I want to figure out what could be the third one, but let's just leave it as -1 right now. So that way when they're running, I like the idea when they're running back, you want one success before 3 failures. If you get 3 failures, something needs to happen. We'll figure out that design in a second. They get back to the lodge. They level up. We roll it in there. They'll be at this point at the end of the first location a level 3, which is great. So how the leveling or CR system of the owlbear works in Shadowdark. 1 player at level 1 equals 1 monster at level 1, right? So the cocaine owlbear is going to be level 6. So we want level 2s for 4 players, bare minimum. The first time they ever meet this, they're going to be level 1s, and someone is very likely to drop. So they level up as they return from the first encounter. They're now level 2. They have a higher chance of surviving, whether it's the cave or the grove, or the witch's cottage. But we get through this part. They go back to the lodge. They level up. They try to go get more moon dust. When they rest this night, I gotta make a note. When they rest between the 2 locations, whether they pick the cottage first or the cave first, when they return, they now have a lot of moon dust in the cabin. And the owlbear will be stalking the cabin now. And they're basically going to roll a 1d20 on the oracle. And the oracle is either a yes or no or a twist. Either that owlbear is going to break in, wreak havoc, and leave, or it doesn't. That's what happens in the middle of the night. So now, next day, we set off to go find the next moon dust location. The cottage is overgrown with plants and looks derelict from the outside, but inside there's a witch brewing potions. The moon dust is not in sight, but there are chests. The witch has a riddle. Last I wrote this, it was like a week ago, and that helps communicate lore for both the viewers and the players. We have a reward is I'm going to put another 2d6. 2d6 bags of moon dust and leveling up when they return. The witch, we have a complication. The witch uses moon dust to become more powerful, if not stopped. So how I'm going to do this is she's going to say a riddle. And then after that riddle, which is a lore dump in the shape of a riddle, she's going to ask 2 questions. The players either can figure out the answer based off the riddle, or the riddle plus some intelligence checks to recall lore. And I have it so if they fail all 3 questions, there we go. If they fail all 3 questions, the witch becomes a young shadow dragon from the umbral. And then I have it here that I think it's funny that the owlbear arrives to actually kill the witch. I don't think that's just going to instantly happen, but I want that there to show like as powerful and evil and creepy this witch who hired the original bandits to get the moon dust and turns into a dragon. This is shape-shifting magic. It is dangerous. Bread. At the end of the day, the owlbear is more dangerous, especially if it's on cocaine. Act 3 is another run through the forest to get to the stronghold. Chapter 6, The Ordeal. This is actually going to be the finale. This is the climax. The owlbear will show up at the lodge. They need to survive 3 rounds until the watch arrives. There we go. I was like, why is that broken? So it's very much like you're playing Left 4 Dead and you're at the final spot and you're waiting for the helicopter arrival. Let's make sure I put the word use fireworks, because that's how they're going to communicate to the watch magically. And then the third act of the climax, they travel to a new location that has not been revealed or discussed on the channel yet, so I'm going to save that. But I basically have them teleport out of there. The owlbear either is dead, well alive, a player might be down, who knows. The survivors vamp out. We learn about a new location, and we arrive to the third act. In the third act, we have Dungeon Phase 2. Revelation? That the right idea, I think? Is Revelation the right idea? I don't like it saying Phase 2. No, Revelation's incorrect. Resolution, that's what I want. And in Resolution, it kind of, especially for a one-shot, we have the Resurrection, where I describe basically through the chaos, we finally calm down. Take a moment and describe how your characters have changed. We'll go around the table. Everyone talks about their character arc. It's okay if some characters didn't have an arc. Ideally, quite a few of them do. The reward, we offered the players treasure. In this case, what did I write last week? Okay, so the reward is they either get to join the watch, or because of the hidden location that they were teleported to, if they choose not to, they will be blindfolded and returned to the nearest village. The road back home is the player's epilogue. I want players to go around and describe where they think their final words of describing where the character might be going. I said that poorly. Players describe their final words, use their final words to describe what the characters would do next and why. Kind of not letting it close completely, but like let the characters exist beyond. And then I, the game master, describe how the journey comes to an end. So that would be the structure and the story of Cocaine Owlbear. a lot of this can change. A lot of things can get moved around. Things can get cut. Drastically change depending on the player's choices and the player's character creations. And an important thing is right before we play, we're going to record a session 0. So it'll be like 30 to 60 minutes. And that's going to go on Patreon. But they're going to roll their characters the day of playing, because Shadow Dark's character creation system is that simple and that fun. So a thing that we need to have here is the witch. We'll look in the book and see if there's a witch in the monster manual. You know what? I'm going to actually bring up the PDF so you can see what the book looks like too. There it is. There. How do I do this? All right. Okay, so this is basically what we're working with. Okay. All right, so in Shadow Dark, is it supposed to be a beholder? It is Shadow Dark's version of the beholder, which is my camera. There we go. It is also, it's considered the 10-eye oracle because you can't use the word beholder. And its center eye is actually an arcane eye. Yo, camera, chill out. There. Hopefully that's stable. All right, so monsters. Where's the monsters? What's going on with my brain? Where are the monsters? Can I not see it? What's going on? It's after the magic spells. Combat coursing. Monster attribute. Monsters. Page 187. Oh, I'm so stupid. There's a second index page. Monsters. See, we got 10-eye oracle right there. We got armor class, hit points, attacks, movement, stats. In Shadow Dark, only the monsters, all non-humanoid monsters, are have dark vision. Why are you trying to generate something? AI assistant tool. Get out of here. All right. Oh yeah, first few pages of the monsters is actually a monster generator, so you can actually make your own monster right away and give it some special abilities and mutations, or just like add a mutation to a current monster to mix it up. Is there something cocaine-ish? I think double damage is very deadly here. But we can come back to this because we can add these mutations as a thing when the cocaine owlbear is on cocaine. Combat rules. Great. So let's go down. We got some dragons, so I need this info. So level 17, 13. We can go for a low level dragon. Forest is a 12. Frost is 14. Swamp. Yeah, we can take the swamp. So this is the full stat of this monster right here. What does that sound? Okay. Are we up to date? Yeah, great. So we have the witch. Oh, it didn't let me. All right, now I'm just gonna have this over here while. So from the swamp dragon, the shadow dragon, we have. What's going on? Can you guys? Dude, I love working on a Mac sometimes. All right, we'll move this over here. So the shadow dragon, the AC is 16. It's gonna be harder to hit. It's got a lot more hit points. 12. We have 4 players. They need to be level 3 minimum to deal with this. Okay. That's gonna be scary. Attacks 3 plus 8 to attack. That's a lot. 2d10 smog. 2d10 or 1 smog breath. I'm gonna call it shadow breath. And seeing a level 12. We'll find ways to lower the level just a little bit, since it's not meant to be the big final monster. It's meant to be a scary obstacle. Movement, double near. Okay. So that means it can do 60 feet, basically. Strength 5. Dex 3. Constitution 4. Intelligence +4. Wisdom 3. Charisma +3. Cool. So what happens with the shadow breath? The shadow breath fills a near-sized cube from the dragon. DC 15 con or 2d10 damage and blinded for 1 round. That's terrifying. All right, so that's going to be what happens when the witch turns into a dragon. That's a good skeleton. So let's continue our search for something that could help us stat out the witch. Ooh, this might be right away I found something. So we have a druid, which in Shadow Dark, this is an interesting description because there's no druid class. There are wizard, priest, thief, fighter, bard, ranger. We have, and the ranger and the bard were a bonus due to the Kickstarter. So the druid describes as a wizard of the wilds holding a knotted staff and wearing a mossy cloak in deep. Okay, so a druid is a wizard versus a priest, which is interesting. We have bark skin, conjure flame, imbue, which is a +3 magic weapon for 10 rounds on self. Okay. Summon bear. Oh shit, that's great. Thunderclap can change to something else. Dude, summon bear. I love it. Summon a loyal brown bear. That's pretty great. Camera. Okay. So we might come back for the druid. Do they have a witch? The Tarrasque. Oh yeah, look how big the Tarrasque is in Shadow Dark. Can't even... Can I zoom out on Acrobat? Yes, I can. So to my understanding, all the monsters are more balanced in this game than they are in 5e. By that, I mean the balance of difficulty class. Normally, in like 5e and in Shadow Dark, they have a DC scale. So you understand what's easy, normal, hard, and extreme. Well, in Shadow Dark, all the monsters' ACs fit within that range of difficulty class. So that way you, as the GM, know, hey, to hit this monster, it's going to be hard or extremely hard. The ACs in 5e kind of are all over the place, and it's a little more difficult to link to it because it goes up to 30, 35, and stuff like that. The difficulty class of extremely hard is an 18 in Shadow Dark. Really giving a lot of value to 19 and 20, which means if you roll a 19 or a 20, dirty or natural, you have a 99% chance of hit, which I really like that for the high numbers. The Tarrasque, though, breaks this rule. This is the one monster that breaks the rule, which is really cool to see a monster break the rule versus all the monsters. The Tarrasque is an AC 22. A colossal four-legged reptile. So I note from this that if I ever do something colossal in size, I'm allowed to go a little bit higher on the ACs. That's good to know. Let's see. Oh, we got a little thief. Thug, treant, a troll, vampire. All right, we're at the W's. The double V's. All right, so they do have a wyvern. How does the wyvern compete to the shadow dragon? AC is just a little bit lower. HP is a little bit lower. A little bit less on attacks. I think I'm going to use the wyvern instead of the shadow dragon. Or the wyvern stats for the shadow dragon. Uh, 1d8. $2d6 damage for the breath. Same breath effect as the black dragon. But we're really just making it weaker because it is a shape-shifting form, not the actual dragon itself. And this makes it a little bit more beatable at that level. What level is the wyvern? Level 8. Oh, that's so much more doable for this adventure. Great. All right, yeah, let's just jump back to the druid. And we're really going to reskin this druid for all my purposes. So have this there. Have that there. I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too. There we go. Dude, there is a dog outside that is losing its mind. Let's put that above acrobat. Heck yeah. A little cluttered, but that's how I roll. Great. So the witch AC 11. Ooh, I like that. HP 31. Okay, we can do that. All good. Attack 1. It says staff. I don't know if I want to do a staff. I kind of want to do like a wand. And it is a +0. Sure. 1d4 damage. That could kill a wizard. Or 2 spells. Interesting. What level is the druid? Druid's a 7. That's great. These are great numbers. So we have movement is near. It doesn't have the crush feature. And we can save some. I'll just leave it there. Strength 0. So a good reason to turn the dragon is a higher strength, slightly higher dex, a slightly higher con. Intelligence should stay the same because, you know, wild shape. We love our wild shape rules, even in different systems. There we go. So the magical spells. We have first spell we have is Barkskin. Conjure Flames. Imbue. Summon Bear. I'm gonna say Summon Owlbear. And then Thunderclap, which we want to change. These are all intelligence. Good to know. So important reason why you definitely want to know what the ability score is for a spell in Shadow Dark is when you cast spells, you make spell casting checks versus other people doing saving throws or you doing an attack roll. If you, because there's no spell slots, what ends up happening is you roll a spellcasting check when you cast a spell. If you succeed, you cast a spell and you can cast a spell again, as if like you have more spell slots, more in the chamber. If you fail your spellcasting check, spell fails and you can't cast that spell anymore for the day. And so we'll see here we have some like DCs. That is the DC for the spell check. DC 13, which means that spell, so the DCs are always 10 plus the spell level, spell tier. So Barkskin is a 3rd level spell. Conjure Flames is a 2nd level spell. That's fascinating. Imbue is a 13 level spell. And Summon Bear is a 4th level spell. What's going on? Reload the page. My mouse is freaking out. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Thunderclap, DC 13. Okay, so most powerful spells to summon the Owlbear. Great. It stays for 5 rounds. That's great to know. Appears near. Near stays for 5 rounds. Love it. Imbue. Turn the staff magical. I don't know if it's good enough spell. Conjure Flames, 1 target. In far, which is about 60 feet. I think it is. 60 plus. Takes 2d6 damage. then bark skin AC becomes 15 for 5 rounds. Oh, and the witch needs it. I think I'm going to get rid of Thunderclap and Imbue. Swap it out for the shape-shifting ability. And then I want to look in this zine. It's an official third-party supplement for Shadow Dark that has the witch as a class for Shadow Dark. Now my camera. The witch. Basically what the witch is, design-wise, is a not necessarily the necromancer, but the diabolical, the demonic spellcaster. Design-wise. So what I want to do is take a few of these spells from the witch class and give it to this druid. I think we can swap out first one right away. Broomstick is a spell that I want. The 3rd level witch spell, so we're good. Focus, okay, which means concentration. Conjure a flying broom, okay, in your hand. The broomstick's rider can fly a near distance each round and can hover in place. Hell yeah. Hell yes. We need this. Guys, we need that. Flying broom summoned. Appear, because we know it's a broom. Appear in hand, fly and hover near distance. Near. There we go. Thunderclap can be changed. The bear's not a focus? That's crazy. Alright, so more. I don't have a digital copy of the zine. Cackle rot. Cauldron. Cauldron. You conjure a bubbling cauldron next to you. You can produce one of the following effects. Any broken mundane item placed inside the cauldron is repaired. A fat croaked toad leaps out and follows your instructions. You can place up to 3 item slots of items inside the cauldron. Interesting. Curse is a nice one. A witch could kill so many people. It's crazy. But I just want to introduce the class and the archetype in the world in this adventure. So I'm just trying to find the right... just the right spell. Moonbeam? That's pretty good. So deadly, though. I think Thunderclap should be swapped out for the shape-shifting. So we got a broomstick, summon owlbear. Okay, then I'll see what can I swap conjure flames with? One target you touch of level 4 or less collapses helplessly with disturbing pained laughter for the spell's duration. Oh, that's terrible. It's amazing. I want this. I'll swap that out. Okay, we're getting rid of Conjure Flames with Cackle Rot. It's a DC 12. One target. Touch. This is terrifying. It's like the Joker and Evil Dead mixed together. Level 4. Can they be a level 4 in this adventure? They start on a 1. Then they become a 2. They go to that 3. No. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to change it to the target has to be a level 1 target, touch, level 3 or lower. So if this is the level 2 or lower. So if this is the first place they visit, this spell will be more deadly. Collapses helplessly with disturbing, pained laughter for the duration, which is a focus, aka concentration. There we go. What's going on, Broomstick? Great. Cackle Rot is such a crazy spell. Bark Skin. What can we swap Bark Skin with? AC goes up a little bit. I don't know if that's necessary. What is it? A level 3 spell? I do have an Alter Self. Let's see, does the witch know? It does know polymorph. Sweet. For 10 rounds? That's crazy. Okay, so Thunderclap's going to be polymorph. $601. Good to know. And that is a DC 14, make it a little bit tougher. Transform into a creature. I'm kind of breaking the rules and the limits of polymorph, but it's fine. For story, it's fine. Barkskin, Barkskin. It's a level 2 spell, so level 1 or 2. Worn or carried object you touch becomes poisoned. No. I think something... a little bit more magical. You call the Coven spell. You call upon the magic you share with your fellow witches. You regain the use of one tier 3 spell. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I think Cauldron. That doesn't make sense. I can just have a Cauldron for the sake of this versus burn a spell for that. Scales, since she turns into a dragon. What do you mean by scales chance? Let's see. Let's see. I do like curse as a spell. Is it too powerful? It's very powerful. The curse spell. It is a level 4 spell. Which is equivalent to an 8th level spell. The duration is permanent. Jesus. A creature you touch is infected by one of the following curses. Hideous boils and warts. All food tastes like of ash. Voice becomes shrill. Disturbing nightmares. Always lose at gambling. An ally turns into an enemy. Fear of something ordinary. Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna call that. Not bark skin. We call it, but scale skin. Make it scales, not turn to bark. You know what? Yeah, okay. That's a fine idea. But I'm writing down curse because it's too good. It could make some funny RP moments. It's a tier 4, so DC 14. Permanent. Close range. Close range is like 5 feet, so it's not touch. But it does say you touch. Okay. How many curses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, I wish there were 8 so we could roll it. I can make an 8th one. All right, cool. So we have the witch and her spells. We have the cocaine owlbear. The effects of the cocaine. We gotta know. I think that's going to be cocaine rage, right? I think that makes sense for the theme of this. So we're actually going to go to another zine supplement. Let's see, I got 3 of them. Here we go. This one, Curse Scrolls, the Red Sand. So it's a very deserty one. It's marketed to have like desert sorcerers and stuff, when it really has Mad Max, fantasy Mad Max stuff. So we have the Pit Fighter in here. Relentless. 3 times a day when you are reduced to 0 HP, make a DC 18 Constitution check. On a success, you instead go to 1 HP. This is absolutely a cocaine effect. I'm gonna say a DC 16 because it's the I'm not DC 15 because it's the cocaine owlbear. It's got a bigger constitution. On success, you instead go to 1 HP. I love it. Maybe also disadvantage on wisdom saves because it makes their perception crazy. Ooh, that's great. Disadvantage on, you know what? We'll do wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. And then I just read another one from the Fighting Pit class. Last stand. You get up from dying with 1 hit point. You get up from dying from 1 hit point on a natural D20 roll of 18 to 20. So basically, your crit is an 18 to 20. You regain 1d6 hit points when you hit an enemy with a melee attack. It says flourish. I want to call it something else. Unstoppable. Regain 1d6 hit points when you hit an enemy with a melee attack. Get rid of the word enemy. Hit with a melee attack. Cool, cool, cool. That's pretty powerful stuff, Moondust. Let's look at a couple other things in here. Charge. I love this. You can charge into combat by moving at least near, so 30 feet, before attacking. Each time you do this, your melee attacks deal double damage. Well, I think it's cool, but we already have crit at 18 to 20. So I don't think charge makes a lot of sense. There's no desert sorcerers. It's just barbarians. The rule for mounts. Mounts have a number of gear slots equal to 5 times their strength bonus. A rider and the rider's carried gear, such as backpack and worn items, with 10 slots. Oh, they fill up the... They instantly occupy 10 slots. Okay. That's actually a really good rule. Okay, so we have our witch and my camera that hates everything. Cool. So we have our cocaine owlbear, we have our witch, we have our possible form. Oh, bandits. Damn it. We need to double check our bandits. Do we have stats for bandits? Oh yeah, right there. This little guy. I'm just gonna move the witch to another page. And then bandit. HP 4 has 4 HP. You think that's a lot, a little, but that's actually quite a decent amount in this game. Attack 1. With a +1. And a D4. Cool. What level is a bandit? Level 1. Okay, they're typically going to be with each other, so we'll be okay. Be an easy, quick fight. Or short bow. That's nice that they have that. +1 club. Short bow far. +0 deals 1d4 damage. Okay. Their movement is near. Strength 1. Dex 0. Get out of here, Dex. Constitution 0. Intelligence. What's their intelligence? -1 because they're bandits. Wisdom 0. Charisma -1. But they do have an ability. Ambush. Deal extra die of damage when undetected. Cool. Great. All right. I'm really happy with this. So we have our cocaine owlbear, we have the cocaine, we have the bandits, we have the others. We've gone through the entire structure, the intended structure of this one shot. Simple story. You gotta go stop the bandits because they stole magical items that end up being moon dust, which is a super rare item in the world. What does it mean? Well, you'll find out by watching. So yeah, we have the first act, Ordinary World, Helping Hand. Second act, Tempting Road, Crossing the Entrance. Dungeon interaction. Dungeon climax. Third act, Dungeon resolution with the resurrection, reward, road back home, and the new world, the final description. So, how's this going to go tomorrow? No clue. I hope it goes well. Camera. It's all the cables that I have to deal with. That's what we're doing. Tomorrow's going to be the first game recorded for the channel to be in Shadow Dark. Instead of 5e. For the fantasy world. Then later, I think in like a week or two, I'm going to do A Knight's Tale. We're recording A Knight's Tale. And hopefully one more before the end of the year. Because once we get to autumn and Halloween stuff, I might not record. So, and I just focus on editing for once. So yeah. I'm excited. Are you excited? On top of that, we're going to have the uncuts of some of the other adventures that are just on the storage get uploaded. The only thing I'm really doing is cutting out the breaks, and I'm having a AI tool do a dialogue like mix for all the mics, just to make sure there's no bleed coming from different microphones, and that way the levels are all balanced. Simple, just a simple pass. For uncut, that's great. It does what I could do in 30 minutes, it does in 30 seconds. And all I'm trying to do is balance out the dialogue, which is great. I'm excited to see when it comes out. Hell, I'm excited to see how it turns out. Chance, everyone else who's here in the chat, likely to be Sam Kent, Chance, Mixmaster Mike, Viltrumite, who stopped by, Cap M8, who stopped by, Draitjin, thank you for stopping by. Everyone else who could be lurking in the shadows today, I will see you next time. It is Friday. I will stream Monday. Not with that camera. I'm going to stream Monday. But I'm not going to be streaming for the rest of the week. I'll talk about it later, but I just need the time. I'm working on some other stuff, and I just need that time. So next week is still going to be Monday, and we can talk about how the one-shot went, and that'll be a lot of fun. Everyone, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, afternoon, evening, and of course, in case I don't see ya, good night.